Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back. We have another video. Today we're going to talk about mouse sensitivity and how to improve your aim, getting better at tracking targets, and ultimately shoot your enemy. So we're using Call of Duty for this video, but remember this kind of applies to every FPS shooter game. So if you were searching for a way to better your aim and your mouse control, you're in the right place. If you weren't searching for that, but you ended up here, welcome. You might find this interesting. Before we get into it, I'd like to thank the sponsors of this video. Actually, there's no sponsors of this video. It's just myself. So, I thank you again for being here. If you want to be awesome and you found some sort of value in this video, remember to hit the thumbs up at the end and maybe leave a comment and tell me how many DPI you play with. If you want to chit chat about this live or you just want to hang out, make sure to come to Twitch. All the links are down here. I'm streaming pretty much every day, so feel free to come by and hang out. Without further ado, let's get into it. So to make this really simple, we're just gonna load into the multiplayer and just start a private match, just a custom game. Alright, once you're in the game, if you don't want to spend too much time changing your gun loadout, you can just pick the default loadout. This is a Kilo, I believe. Also, if you're wondering why my game is so vibrant, good colors, no dark corners, everything looks alive, I made a video about that. I'm gonna post it right here up in the screen in the corner, right corner. So just click on it and it'll take you to that video. You can watch it later. Before we get into this, you want to ask yourself, if you are a person that uses a lot of mouse pad surface or not, right? For example, if you play like with your wrist and you do like small movements, your sensitivity is gonna be pretty high. So you're gonna find out with this video if you're gonna need more room on your mouse pad, if you're gonna have to turn down your sensitivity and whatnot, right? So I always make sure I have enough room on my mouse pad. I have a huge mouse pad. I'm gonna post the link down below of the mouse pad I'm using. So what I do, I usually find a spot in the map that has like a little detail on it that I can keep track of. For example, let's find this right here. So what do you want to do? You want to aim at it, and you want to make sure that when you move, you're able to track it as good as possible, right? So it's a little tricky at the beginning, right? So if I put my DPIs too high, let's see, if I put it up really high, see I'm moving like really fast. I personally find it a little difficult to stay on it because I'm not used to the sensitivity, right? If I turn it down to where I'm used to, the tracking is way better. It's all the muscle memory too, right? You gotta have to do it like a bunch of times to get familiar with it. But that's pretty much key if you wanna be good at tracking your enemy or where you want to shoot, especially if you use sniper rifles when you need to do micro adjustments and stuff like that. So my in-game sensitivity is 5 and my DPI is set to 500. So that way I kind of need a lot of surface. If I need to do a 180, I need a lot of room. Although to avoid that, I did put a little bit of mouse acceleration, 0.2, which is not much. But what happens is if you're in a tight corner, you have to move fast. It gives you that acceleration where you don't need to cover as much room, but you can do a 180. You can turn around pretty quick. So try that out. The rest of my settings are pretty much the default. I changed the air vehicle sensitivity multiplier because when I'm on choppers and stuff and I like to go around, I don't have to move like miles on my mouse pad to turn. ADS mouse sensitivity is set on relative, and I have the sensitivity transition timing in instant. So again, this is personal preference. I feel like if you choose one, you might want to stick with it because you might not notice the difference right away. But the more you shoot people, you realize something has changed. So I keep it as instant, meaning that as soon as you go ADS, your multiplier, which is set to 1, it kicks in instantly, right? Monitor distance coefficient is set to 133, and this is if you're playing at 1080p. You want to set it 133. Everything else, besides we already talked about the mouse acceleration, everything else is pretty much set to default. I wouldn't touch mouse smoothing or mouse filtering. I wouldn't mess too much with the in-game. I would probably go with the DPI on your mouse, but if you feel like you can do it with a higher sensitivity, I mean, it's doable. Although, if the target is really far away, you know, you move the mouse just a little bit and it's easier to get off target. So keep that in mind. Anyway, there isn't any written rule of what's better and what not. It's based on a personal preference and what you feel more comfortable with. I personally prefer a lower sensitivity because when the target is moving, it's just easy for me to track it. I also use Car 98, a lot of sniper rifles, and that's also very useful for me. For the recoil, if your mouse sensitivity is too high, you're gonna struggle once you learn the recoil pattern to keep the gun down. If your sensitivity is fairly low, you might find it easier to keep the gun down when you shoot. So once you shoot the gun against the wall from a reasonable distance without touching anything, just shooting it. This is the recoil pattern of your gun. So what you're gonna do next to it, just shoot the same way. Try to follow that recoil, and you'll see that your shots way better. But these are all micro adjustments that you can achieve once you master your sensitivity and you can fully control your aiming in your mouse. Well, that was it for today's video. Appreciate you for hanging out till here. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you found some value, hit those thumbs up. It will really help me a ton. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't so you don't miss the next video. I'll see you next time. Happy gaming.